Okay, first of all, thanks for having me. Thanks for the warm welcome at the Kubernetes Community Days in Zurich. I was flying in from Munich in today, and the city is really beautiful. The food is amazing, actually. And well, thanks for being here with us, online and offline. And thanks for all the community members to contribute constantly. My name is Sebastian Kister. I'm the lead of the Container Competence Center and Platforms team at Audi for the VW Group, and also in the UG Transportation with Boeing, with the French railway company, amongst others. And I initiated the partnership with the Cloud Native Computing Foundation and Audi in 2019. And also, we've introduced the process to open source Audi intellectual property, thus being able to contribute to open source as an Audi employee in 2019 in August. So, before Audi, I was this startup guy, and I've led an app ecosystem for IP television from first customer to 1.25 million customers. And we had a couple of other projects before that startup. For example, like the German passport, this image, that is transferred to the state printery through our system. But enough said. Today it's about Audi. And what we're doing here is we break paradigms. The paradigm that every enterprise ever did for the last decades. Process first transformation, define a new process, get some cool new tools for it, and then let the people do the same shit with different names. So, yeah. How does cultural change help us build products that really matter? And for decades, Audi built breathtaking premium vehicles. And this customer excitement that we have in the premium manufacturing space, this customer excitement we want to deliver also in a digital service portfolio. And we're facing a history of 5-year product cycles. That is like the contrary of continuous delivery anything, if it's even delivery in time. So we need to meet fast-changing customer expectation. Thus, we have to change a lot in our way of working as an enterprise. And we let people explore new challenges that we face, and they will come up with solutions. It might not be what you expect, but that's because you did your job right. You hired people smarter than you. And in every aspect of your work environment, that's an indicator that you're doing well if you just explore something and you find the best tech bleeding edge and you automate it. And the result, what you're doing there, and letting passionate people explore the best technology and solve an issue with it, automate it. The process here is something that naturally evolved by solving a problem. It's a process that already is validated to solve problems. And you can reproduce this by automation and by processualization. And like I wrote here, if you transform people first, people solve problems. But if you transform process first, people satisfy processes. Because that's their job then. They did their job right if they satisfied the process. No mistakes done. That's how you did careers in the last decades in enterprises. Big enterprises have always tried to change and transform. They know they have to. What mostly happened is a centrally agreed upon process that has been established by telling the people what tool to use and what to do with it. But people are people. They played along the same old song but gave it a different name. In a nutshell, that's what happened for decades. And what we did also, I mean, you read it all over LinkedIn, all over the internet, the DevSecOps culture, the DevOps culture in the silo-structured enterprises is not very satisfactory to people that really want to live up to the standards of DevSecOps culture, doesn't it? We gave an old culture a new name. A service responsible became a product owner. But nothing happened. Same people, same shit. I have a very blunt language, sorry for that. But I will not call things what they're not. Transformation is a mindset, it's not a process. We have to understand that transformation is like going out of your comfort zone, doing something new, and making that a sport. It's something that you live up to every day. It's a culture. You cultivate change. That's transformation. When you cultivate change people first, you make it a sport that you have constant change in your life, and you can adapt to different environmental changes. And also that counts for enterprises and business. And customer expectation again. Because the customer expectation changes as well as your work environment, as everything that affects your business. And at least in software, we can only stay top of the game. Embracing change as a daily routine. As change is nothing that happens overnight, you don't need to be afraid of this hindering you moving forward. Just think of doing a starfish retrospective for your organization once a month and see what positive effects your new idea has had in the previous weeks. And we create something that lasts. And that's only possible if you can sell it, if it's a business case. You can't make something change if it's not a business. It will not be lasting. It will not be intrinsically motivating. It will not be effective. And everybody is along with you on that journey if it's a benefit for everyone. And that's the definition of a good business. To further elaborate on that, a little hands-on here. Let me tell you about our people, processes, and tools. You know how we work in the CNCF. We always think about people, processes, and tools. And priorities, obviously. And these are the silos in the most big organizations. Internal or external developers, an internal product owner, or service responsible, as I said before, who is orchestrating everything, and last but not least, the infrastructure and platform teams, the cloud foundations. What happened in the past is we have here processes in the middle, right? Between these silos, the process is the usual specification by the product owner and development by the dev team. Then check of the deliverables by the PO and handover process to infrastructure to deploy and run the application. And you can already see there's a lot of friction happening here. These red walls here, I call them friction walls. You can throw something over that wall and you're not responsible for it anymore. That's great. And there are tools. Previously I wrote a couple of tools, but we exchanged some of them, so I just scratched the entire thing here to not do too much commercial anyway. In between these silos, we have these huge friction walls caused by the processes here. Although tools help overcome some of these hurdles, like single source of truth repos, ticketing systems, CI/CD pipelines, automation through and to the Kubernetes API, but still, this kind of remaining friction often costs us up to half a year of time to market. Just imagine the middle guy being on holidays in August. True story, by the way. Nobody's here at August. And then you have the dev team, external company, trying to reach somebody in the middle. The middle guy says, oh, I literally have no idea what this stuff is about. And talks to the other guy and they say, no, you still have root in your container. You can't have that. Okay, I don't know what roots he's talking about. I drink only coffee. But this guy just said then, well, okay, so I need to change it. And a month is gone until you find the right meeting, the right timing, the right slot. And that's what kind of specification was it? It was like nothing special, right? Just imagine complicated stories. That kills time to market. 6 months minimum, sometimes a year. how can you improve as a company and with this culture? So let's focus on the silos again, because they're pretty important. Instead of fighting the silos, it's smart to leverage the platform mentality, which of course favors silo structure again. In addition, ask yourself why the DevOps dogmas were preaching about overcoming the silos in the first place. There are business values behind it. And the second and third, why latest is connected to strong business KPIs. There is strong business KPIs behind the DevSecOps culture. And that is not only, but at least time to market. The process of handovers between the silos makes it difficult to overcome the friction walls because there is no end-to-end responsibility. And we have legal entities, and the VW Group has 200-something companies. The brands are not like, if I have a VW application running on my Audi platform, I need a legal construct that is compliant and will survive a revision. It's some friction here that I can't overcome. So there is no end-to-end responsibility on paper. I need to do that with people. I need to do that culturally. It's no other way. And that's why DevOps culture preaches you build it, you run it, right? Because you want to overcome that, but on paper I can't. I need to do that with people. And while there is contract work making the infrastructure here responsible for the topics and just for their topics, we need to go from one end-to-end of a non-existing end-to-end responsibility to the very other with culture and enablement. We need to enable these people. But you see, I went from a process to a people thing. This is a people thing. This is in blue. This is why it's called a people-first transformation. The cultural part of this is key, and it's a people thing, not a process thing. Culture is paramount. And combining the processual world with this cultural approach leaves us with the necessity to sort our errors kind of new. We enable the project teams with shift-left tools and platform tools to automate handovers and already know while coding if the infra will accept their sort of container or workload. And now we're left with an old process here in the middle that doesn't reflect the status quo anymore, culturally, people-wise. And let's check the status quo again. What is an automation of a problem-solving solution end-to-end, as I told you before? A naturally evolved process based on people and then tools. Process is what naturally follows. It's the name of this talk. Process is what naturally follows. And we are not hindered by silos anymore. We didn't get rid of the silos, we have them, because platform is like really basically the definition of a silo. But here, we made a way through the silos seamlessly. And process is what naturally follows. And by transforming your organization through culture, meaning people first, giving them the best technology to explore problem solving and then automating that you have a validated process that's already proven to solve a problem. If you transform process first, people satisfy processes. If you transform people first, people solve problems. If you transform process first, you just change names. I think, like real example, I have my fourth or fifth department now. I'm 4 years at Audi. I have my 5th department now, and I never changed it. I never changed the team. So let's remember from the first slides why we wanted all of this, why we want to change. We want great products. We want to meet customer expectation, a fast-changing customer expectation. And that only works people first, with your passionate people, with the passionate people in your organization that really move something. There are like 10% high performers, passionate people that really dig into something. And I ask in my team, what you're passionate about. I don't ask the people to solve like this ticket and that ticket and tell them how to. I have responsibilities and not tasks. You're responsible for this topic that you're passionate about. I'll make a business case out of it. I'll sell that, what you're passionate about. Because if you're passionate about, it's so good, I'm going to be able to sell it. That's people first. Make your customers and your workload teams happy. And if you do that 20 times, you get communities. That's all of you. That's an open source community as well. The passionate people in the infrastructure make the customers happy, the workload teams, the applications. And they do that 20 times. That's how they create a community around their platform. Because these people troubleshoot and solve the problems on their own without throwing thousands of first-level tickets at you. And a strong community is solving their issues themselves. This boosts a lot of KPIs as well, like incident management KPIs, basically. But also onboarding. The onboarding took, before, with the specification handover process, literally 6 to 12 months from development to production. And today, when the container is finished, we have something like 2 hours for people that already know the platform and 1 week for people who learn the platform. So the KPI time to market went from worst case, 12 months, to best case, 2 hours. And that's a real KPI. That's real data. That's something we can pull off now as an organization. And passionate people do what again? They build great products. That's what we need in this new market. Great digital products. That's basically what I want to remember you. Process is what naturally follows. If you transform people first, people solve problems. If you transform process first, people satisfy processes. If that's sticky, I'm going home happily. Do you have any questions? It's always good to give a speech where nobody needs to ask anything.
So, thanks for the talk. One question. I'm working in a company where I see a lot of especially elderly Java developers who seem to have no passion. Do you have any advice to fire up that passion again, or
is changing from Java an option? No. Just no programming language bashing. Actually we do that, but you need to do that within your capacity. So we have like 15 people in our core team, and we do take people and create passion for them, with them together. Obviously, going out of your comfort zone, the longer you've been in that comfort zone, is always a hard task. It makes it more difficult the longer they've been in that. And they're fine with it, and they're just waiting on their pension. And for the next 5 years, I learn something new. We know that, and we meet that by taking one of these guys into a rotational team. And our team, for example, we have operations, obviously, we have container security, we have firewalls and load balancer teams. They're managing these managed services on the platform, and they're according to platform engineering paradigms, they're their own product team, these managed services. So somebody can change from ops to container security, and from load balancers to a different team. And here you can onboard somebody and say, well, there's a new world. I don't throw tasks at you. You can just see what's happening here and go into every team and then just pick what's most interesting to you. What do you want to explore? And you will get your like godfather in that team that will help you just explore the space and give them all the time. That's we call it the Trail of Tears sometimes, because it's a very long way and you need to have compassion for the people. You need to like really let them have success what they're working on. And when they feel that they can be successful with it, then you will see a spark in their eyes. That's the first. I did this. So I'm 50 something. I did this. Have you seen that? Yes. And we have people that are up to the task after that. They want to explore more. So give me something else. And at a certain point, they don't ask anymore that you give them something else. They find something else. But it takes time and constant supervision that you really, every day, how's it going? What happened? Did you look into this? Oh, I have a new idea. I found something online, a course, like a YouTube video about this. This seems pretty exciting. Did you try that already? Every day. But according to your capacity. Don't onboard 15 people in a team that only has 10 people. 1, 2, 6, 7 people. We do have something like that, by the way. We call it Digital Future Program and Digital Shifters. So many excited people. We have another couple of minutes, so if there's anything I can talk to you, this is the moment.
So I saw in the diagram that you sort of shortcut over the, do you hear me? Oh, over the middle silo. How did they take this shortcutting?
This one?
Yes, this one, yes. The silo number 2. I mean, acceptance-wise, I mean, they were comfortable.
What thinks about
ignored, yeah.
silo number 2 has less work than before. They love it. That's like infra talking directly to the development team without them lost in the middle between, for them, in their language, it's bullshit bingo. You talk to them in terms they've never heard and they never will use, and they just put money from the left to the right, actually. They pay these guys and they internally organize a payment for these guys. And they want results. Usually, these are closer to the users. And the users of an application in technical development, for example, they want to calculate their algorithms, they want to calculate or use machine learning to morph rim designs that are already proven to have a metallurgic feasibility. So not painting anymore some designs and then talking to metallurgy and they're like, oh no, this will not work. And then painting it again and again and again. And the program already does it. You hit the spacebar and you got a feasible design. Done. Applications like this, they are users. They don't bother about infrastructure. If it's Kubernetes, they never heard the term and they don't care. And these guys, the developers, they just create an application. But here are like designers in the middle. And the designers have their product owner. The product says, I just want to hit spacebars and get designs and be done with it. So they're very happy about the shortcut.
Okay. It's not everywhere.
If you make their life easier, you sold them a case. That's what I told you. Make it a business case for everyone. Make everyone happy. Oh, can you throw that far?
Yeah.
This will be, oh no.
Thank you. So thank you for the presentation. And I have a question about vertical friction lines. So for example, if you have a big organization and then you want to give your head of whatever, RIMS development, you want to give him a chance that he develops a new type of product and he has his own right to decide. How can you resolve a situation where he is going in another direction and you need him to be here, right? He's like completely independent and he has his own opinion about how things should be done, and the company has a completely different vision. How do you resolve that friction line? And then imagine you have 16 of those departments. And or like 65 are going in the right direction and 16 are like, I don't know, maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Exactly. We had to deal with it the last 7 years. We call that submarines, people that avoid the process and create something until shit hits the fan, and then they throw it back to you and say, there's like a platform thing that doesn't work anymore. Yeah, we've been there, done that. And so we create obviously a mandatory process in the end, but how did we get there? And that's by creating solutions sexy enough that they want to use it anyway. If it's so good and so promising from a business case point of view, that they have an intrinsic motivation of not doing their own thing. Because why would you want to have 5 people doing Kubernetes instead of doing your actual business value that drives your business forward as an application team? Why would you bother with, this is no value add for them. This is commodity. Why would I bother even wasting hours on that? I want fully managed services all the time. And if you create something that 100% need to use, and we did it by focusing on secure runtime, like literally runtime and security. 100% of the projects need runtime and security, but everything else, like RDS, S3, or the equivalents of Google, whatever they need, they can consume that through a vertical of services. So you have Foundation, the runtime runs on Foundation services, obviously, where your Kubernetes runs on, where your 100% runtime is located. But you also have a vertical of many 3-dimensional verticals where you can consume services. We have a cloud interconnect where you can tap into the cloud-native services of a different cloud provider or a different platform. And we create managed services on a platform only by doing it with a product team mentality, meaning the platform, if it has a managed service on top of the platform, must be able to give it to all the platforms. So container security must be internal as a service for everyone. And then you satisfy the projects, and you don't need to sell it. It's just they want to go to you. But after that, you need to processualize that and create what we call it a demand to solution process. So we have a business partner management that is quite huge. And you tell these, like an architecture management, every new demand must go there. And they allocate you somewhere with a recommendation. That's just pointing the way. It's not that they're saying you have to use that, but you definitely need a good explanation why you wouldn't. We're not killing innovation if you don't understand something. That is the danger in this, like forcing somebody on something that doesn't work for him because you just didn't get it. Yeah, it's a recommendation, but if you have a good reason why not, then maybe you should do your own thing.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you very much.